All right, now, as a psychologist, when people come to meet you right there in Jamaica, and you look at them that they really could be telling their story or they really could be working more on themselves, because I believe that irrespective of where or what we might actually be doing, the real project that um, the real project we should be working on is our life. Your life is a project, and you are the project manager. You decide what happens to it.
Yes.
So when you see some of these managers who are not working enough on their project, and you want to tell them, hey, maybe you could do A, do B, or do C. Tell me, which are those A, B, C that you tell them to? I mean, where should they start from?
So we always say it starts from an awareness. You remember you spoke about your book having to do with the identity. I want to get the name right. You spoke about the identity of crisis or the crisis of identity. You spoke
The crisis of identity, and
right,
of course, it's available on Amazon for those who want to check it out.
right. So for the clients who come to me, the first place we start, incidentally, is just tell me your story. Tell me why you're here. Tell me what brought you here. And in telling their stories, you are able to pick up pain points, you're able to pick up stuck points, and then you explore with them, where do you want to go? What do you want to change? Because being central players in our stories, or the central beings or persons in our stories, we have a good idea of where we want to go. But even if your client doesn't, you open options to them. So you look at areas of, for example, self growth, because we exist to connect, we exist in a community. So I help them to look at areas of interpersonal relationships. Are those where you want them to be? If they are not, what is it about them that you don't like? What would you like to change? We look at areas of occupation. Because of our limitations, some of us stay stuck in occupations and jobs because of the limitations we put on ourselves, and that includes my client, that we don't particularly like. We don't live our dreams. So one of the things I do is encouraging my clients to explore their dreams, to see what messages they may have told themselves or others may have told them that have held them back from going after their dreams, and to look at strategies. Because when you are living your dream, when you are living that which you were created to do, when you are not boxed in, or you're not living just one part of you, it actually helps you to flourish, to thrive, to do well, to impact. You're able to impact other lives. You're able to sow into other people's lives. And so those are some of the things that I help my clients to do, but it usually starts with awareness. And as we tell our stories, we get that sense of awareness. For example, I might have a client who can't have sustained relationships. And as we explore, it goes back to the place where you discover that the client may have felt or been told or taken on the message that your partner is going to leave you anyway. So, guess what happens? That client internalizes that message, it becomes a part of their core belief. And at the first sign of problem in a relationship, they're not going to let the partner leave, so they run. Or we look at how they attract individuals based on the stories, the beliefs that they have about themselves. So, as we work in therapy, it's a liberating experience that gives people the permission to explore and to be all who they have or were intended to be. And that includes the therapist. Because I must say to your viewers that there is a therapist or a theorist known as Eric Erickson, and he speaks about the psychosocial stages of development. And I'll say to you that when I was in my 30s, that is when I started to stagnate. So he says that when we're between 35, 36, and about 60, we either stagnate, where the dreams die, the hopes die, all the things that we want to do die, or we generate. And at that point, having been in business for 15 years, I decided that I was going to generate. So I generated and I changed my line altogether back to my roots, back to my calling. Here I am now in my 50s and I am looking to generate again. So it's a part of our evolution. It's a part of, you said the world is waiting on our stories. The world is also waiting on us, our experiences, what we bring. And many of us pack a mean punch and don't realize just how powerful and impactful and effective and life changing our lives and our stories can be.
Thank you so much for that. How much I love that. And I love also that you made mention of Eric Clapton, because it's one of the experts that I mentioned in the book that I was talking about.
Mhm.
You see, in the beginning, I was saying that it is good that we live the life that, or maybe we live the experience that we want to talk about. Of course, I take some time to explain a bit about his whole history, because now we understand why he even decided to venture into psychology.
Right.
Yeah, anyway, I'm not going to do a spoiler there. Another person that I also made mention in the book is Victor L. Franco,
Yes.
the writer of the book, A Man's Search for Meaning.
Yes.
I think life is beautiful if we really want to take it beautiful from a beautiful part of it. And now, Victor L. Franco will be head in the Nazi Germany,
Right.
and he will go through a lot of stress, a lot of trouble. But see how he transformed his trouble into good.
Yes.
Because he is one of the most respected people in developmental psychology.
Mhm.
But how did he get there? He
He,
get there through the experience that he went through.
he had to go through some things. And
Yeah,
this brings us to the mindset that we have. You ask me, what do I tell my clients? I encourage my clients along the path of a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. The fixed mindset says, I can only do as much as my abilities. The growth mindset says, I'll try. The fixed mindset says, I stop when I am frustrated or when evil is perpetrated against me. The growth mindset says, I'll find a way, even in my frustration. So the having a growth mindset, an adaptable mind, because no doubt the horrors that he endured, he had to adapt mentally, even though he was there experiencing the physical evils. But he did, and he came out, and he has made such an impact on human development, human life in the area of psychology in his writings. So being adaptable is something that we can develop. We were not all born with it. Some of us may be more so than others, but it can be developed, like resilience, which is what Viktor Frankl had to be able to do what he did subsequent to his experience in Nazi Germany. Resilience is a characteristic or a quality that can be cultured, it can be developed. There is no truth that either you're born resilient or you're not. And so our mindsets are extremely, extremely important.
thank you
Extremely.
so much for that. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that.